Hey, how's it going? And today I'm doing another video that no one asked for. Anyway, this one is called Easy Sun, and you're going to get something like this. And I'll just kind of show you how I did this. It's really simple to do. It's just using a spotlight, but there's a few settings you got to play around with. I just have a ground plane here and a mix amount character here. But I'm going to go ahead and let's see, I'm on the spotlight. I'm just going to delete the spotlight, just to show you how I did this. Okay, so right now we have a backdrop on, and this is what it looks like, backdrop off. And this affects the lighting, you'll see a little bit here in a minute. So on the backdrop, I've actually changed the colors to blue. And you'll see why in a minute here, because I think by default they're white or they're a lighter color. So anyway, to do this, all we've got to do is just come into light and we just grab a spotlight like that and go okay. We'll have to get out of VPR here to take a look at it. So here's the spotlight, and if you turn the scroll wheel, you can just grab it here, and we're just gonna move it over here and turn the scroll wheel again, and then just rotate. Oh, so I want the red one. So we turn it facing the camera, our camera view. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and match our perspective right there with camera. Okay, so in the light properties, we click in here, and the light color is kind of a big deal. So probably you want it yellow, I'm imagining, as the sun, or maybe a darker yellow. And then what we usually do is we're going to increase the light intensity to 10. We're going to increase our volumetric samples to at least 4. And our angles here, we're going to put 90 and 90. And then for size, we want 2. And then turn off normalize. Okay, and that takes care of the light settings. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come into render and render properties, and we're going to turn on the volumetric scattering here. And again, you can just leave it on the default. We'll leave it at 26% for right now, but you might want to, that's one of those settings you might want to play around with. Okay, but you have to have the volumetric scattering on. And normalize on the light property has to be off. Let's go back into VPR and see what we've got. There it is. So one of the things that you might have to play around with is your sampling on here, because it is a light. One of the things you can do is, like under cameras, properties, boost those samples up there. The other thing under render properties, if we go under render here, I boost those up to 4, and then I usually almost always turn on the noise filter. On my particular system, LightWave doesn't recognize the GPU, but it does recognize the CPU, and so you can turn on the noise filter for the CPU, and I usually like to do that. Sometimes diffuse bounce I might put up to a 3. You usually don't ever want to put that above a 3, and that should give you a good enough quality render, I think. And then the other thing you might want to play around with, I didn't mean to close that, is under render properties, is under volumetrics. You might want to just play with the amount of scattering. You know, the more you turn that up, kind of the more of a kind of effect you get, and you know, just play around with it. There's no necessarily right or wrong setting on that. So it might look a little bit better, a little lower. Just depends what you like. So I'm just going to leave it right there. I'm just starting to see if I can watch it render out a little bit. Yeah, so it's just a really cool effect just to pop a sun in the sky, and I use this all the time to put a sun in the sky, and it looks great. And so it's just one of those things, again, one of those things I like about LightWave. Super easy to do, looks super good, and that's it. That's all I had for today. So have a great day, and I will talk to you next time.